Look, here's the reality. Tommy's right. It's not just race though. It's also sexuality. Caitlin Clark is a white heterosexual woman in a black lesbian league, and they resent and are jealous of all of the attention and the shoe deal that she got.
Dear God, I don't listen to a lot of commentary about sports outside of the WWE, and maybe I made a good choice, because if that is representative of it, I don't think I'm missing much. Anyway, that's Clay Travis with one of the least offensive things I've ever heard him say. Simultaneously, good God. In any event, what he's talking about right there is that Caitlin Clark is obviously a major figure in sports, and they despise it. They want to talk about women's sports exclusively through the venue of attacking trans people. They don't want to have to actually respect their athleticism and everything. But there's a situation going on where apparently Clark and Chicago Sky guard Chennedy Carter were involved in a tense moment when Clark elbowed Carter, and then Carter shoved Clark to the floor. So they got into it. It was a little bit rough, or at least to the extent that basketball would tend to be.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the Damage Report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you.
Here is what Pat McAfee said, okay? Pat McAfee, who has a bit of a reputation, said this. We can't show you the video because they'll take down our channel. Said, I would like the media class that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And we'll get to what other people thought, but Waz, I need your opinion. My only experience with Pat McAfee is that he is a commentator on the WWE. And this seems somewhat consistent with his buffoonish character. Yes, what do you make of this?
I think the Caitlin Clark story has made so many people nuts for a lot of reasons, because it blends race, it does blend sexuality, it does blend culture war. Like, this is a white woman from Iowa, let's face it. And it blends just like the new realities of the culture, where like it's hard to get a bunch of people to pay attention to any one thing. And when they do, particularly now with women's sports, I just think a lot of people don't know how to react. A couple of things. I think there has been some gatekeeping from the people who have covered the WNBA before Caitlin Clark popped up. There's just this idea like, look, there was already great storylines, there were already compelling athletes, there were already all these great things about the league and our players to celebrate. And we're kind of annoyed that all these newbies come and they're barging in and blah, blah. And I understand how they feel about that. It's kind of like, when you like that band that was just indie and then all of a sudden they signed a mainstream with a record label and like now they have millions of fans. I understand the gatekeepers in that sense. I think they're wrongheaded. I think it's nice when a lot of people can enjoy a thing, but whatever. I understand how they feel that way. I think too, the people who get uneasy about the fact that this predominantly black league now has this white player as the face of it day one, before becoming super accomplished in that league. She was very accomplished in college, probably one of the most accomplished college basketball players ever, but she's a rookie. She hasn't done anything in this league, and now she gets all the attention. She's getting a lot of money from endorsements, etc. I understand people's unease with that part of it as well. Where I differentiate from people is that, one, I think people need to give Caitlin Clark a little bit more credit for becoming this popular, for not being some hot sex pot, blah, blah, blah thing. People are attracted to how she plays the game and her personality. Like, literally, these are the things that are bringing people into the game. That's very rarely been the case for a lot of things having to do with women athletes, and just some of the stuff that we could go back to Serena Williams and what's her freaking name? Not Anna Kournikova. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on the Russian? Sharapova, sorry, Sharapova. Yeah. She was making a lot more money. Maria Sharapova, she was making a lot more money off of the court than Serena, who was kicking her ass on it. Way better player. And people were like, oh, it's just because she's hot. And I think that was legitimate gripes. That's not the case with Caitlin Clark. She's just getting this stuff for being a great player and having a game that attracts a lot of people. And I think folks just need to calm down. Again, we can't retrofit this thing and be like, oh, well, Teresa Witherspoon and Cheryl Swoops and all these other great, Rebecca Lobo and Diana Taurasi and Super, we already had great players. Why aren't they getting the praise? Sorry, guys, for whatever reason, their games didn't resonate with the public the way Caitlin Clark's does. This idea that we should retroactively go back and start saying sorry to these women, that's not how life works, guys. Caitlin Clark is here now. Yes, she's getting a disproportionate amount of attention, but guess what? In the aggregate, a rising tide will lift all boats and everybody is going to be able to benefit in the newfound attention. And we should be thankful for that.
Yeah, I agree. Look, it's almost like the perfect storm, okay? Because she's a rookie. There's the racial angle. There's the right wingers now feeling like they need to weigh in when they've literally never cared about women's sports, particularly the WNBA. Like it's like all these things hitting at the same time. And some of it's illegitimate, some of it's legitimate. You could be frustrated by a rookie getting this much attention. I think it's hardly the first time that a rookie comes into a league and a lot of people are focusing on them. It can be exciting when someone comes in, particularly when they were doing so well previously. And so there's definitely that. Yeah, I just, like, they don't have to talk about it. If you're not interested in the WNBA, that's fine. Plenty of people don't watch the WNBA. I don't watch the WNBA. Yeah. But I also think that there are some guys that want to be able to go back to just talking about it as a joke because they don't think that women should ever be respected as athletes. And they unfortunately feel like this is, particularly because she's white, that they need to weigh in. Now, that said, I want to get to Pat McAfee's apology. I guess it's an apology. He says, I shouldn't have used white bitch as a descriptor of Caitlin Clark. And you know you messed up when that's the first sentence of a tweet you have to send out. No matter for the context, even if we're talking about race being a reason for some of the stuff happening, I have way too much respect for her and women to put that into the universe. My intentions with saying it were complimentary, just like the entire segment. But a lot of folks are saying that it certainly wasn't at all. That's 100% on me, and for that I apologize. I've sent an apology to Caitlin as well. Everything else I said, all still facts. I called her white bitch as a compliment. I think you might have to send out another tweet, man, because I think that's a problem. But anyway, yeah, it's frustrating. Like I just wish we were better as a society. I wish that we could appreciate. Again, you don't have to watch it. I don't watch it, but you know, I love Angel City football. I watch WWE mostly for the women, who I think they have some of the most amazing female athletes in literally the world. If you're not familiar with who Jade Cargill or Bianca Belair are, you literally need to look them up because they're amazing. But anyway, some of these guys need to take the opportunity that is always open to them to just not talk about something.
Yeah. And I would say this one last thing, which I think is going to be different from what your listeners might hear out there regarding this story. Because for the NBA, which I cover specifically for my day job, the coverage was not always the most racially sensitive, culturally literate that it could be. It wasn't always the fact. Guess what? The game grew anyway, and we learned along the way to be better about our coverage of these Black athletes. We learned how to do it, but guess what? It wasn't always fantastic. What I would say to people who care about the women's game, this is growing pains, guys. You're in the big leagues now. A lot of people, you got a lot of eyeballs on what you're doing. This is part of it. We'll get over it. We'll all get collectively better, and we'll all be happier for it.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.